Welcome back to the EU Challenger Series. It's just about time to head into our second matchup of today. Lowlandlions White versus Team Dignitas EU. Let's take a look at our two teams here. On the blue side, we have Lowlandlions White. Morsu in the top lane, Kyrie in the jungle, CosQ in the mid lane, Visility, and then Hybrid in AD carry and support.
Yeah, very interesting roster of, a mix of players there. And over on the red side, it is the Team Dignitas Europe roster. Wonderwear up in the top lane, Broken Shard in the jungle, Senkux in the mid lane, with Crazy Caps on AD carry and Zaitan as support.
Yes, indeed. So they honestly have, Team Dignitas that is, they have a very interesting split of experience from the likes of Broken Shard and then the promising solo lane talent in the form of Senkux and Wonderwear. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. But the expectations heading into Challenger are that if they can perform, Team Dignitas can challenge for those top spots up against Origin and the newly named Gamers 2.
Yeah, and speaking of newly named, obviously Team Dignitas just recently joining the organization, the former SKP team. During the qualifiers, the question always was, can they be consistent? And we saw glimpses of brilliance in Game 1 against Thunderbot Sparta. This was round 2 of the qualifying rounds for Challenger. They had a great game where they completely just destroyed Sparta in Game 1. Then Game 2 kind of happened and Sparta bounced back, got themselves a win in a very close game. And Game 3 again was a bit of a struggle for the then SK Prime, now Dignitas EU roster. And at that point, it was a bit of a struggle for them.
Well, with their opponents, though, it was not a struggle because Lowlandlions didn't have any problems in their bracket. But now is the real question. Can they challenge themselves up against the higher caliber teams that made it through alongside them?
Yeah, indeed. And, Lowlandlions are an organization that with the Morsu, their top laner, has been around on for a very long time as well. So if they want to contend against the top teams, the teams that perhaps they're not expected to do quite so well as, they're going to need him to kind of group the team and be a big figurehead during those wins. Because coming into this, everybody's kind of expecting them to place in the bottom side of the table. And being an underdog in a situation like that, a lot of teams may underestimate the team. And at that point, Lowlandlions become a very dangerous team to play against because as soon as you underestimate them, they could easily take a game from you.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is more dangerous than the man with nothing to lose stress. But for this match, we're going to be keeping a close eye on Dignitas' mid laner, Senkux. The Danish 16-year-old has been very impressive during the qualifiers, and we saw him roll over teams almost on his own with his carry mid laners.
Yeah, going back to that qualifier against Sparta. Game number 1, aggressive style out of Senkux. That's what we know from him, those carry mid laners. Look at the likes of LeBlanc. And in that game, he played LeBlanc and went 8-0-3, pretty much almost single-handedly carrying that matchup. Over on the other side, contrast to game number 2, he played a utility mid laner, Lulu, not the same play style at all, and he went 3-9-14. And while 14 assists is great, 9 deaths really just showed that it's out of his comfort zone as a player.
Yeah, I mean, it's really when he gets those carries that he really starts doing work. But before we jump into Champion Select, let's take a look at how yesterday's match turned out between these two teams. The game started off with Diggs initiating a lane swap, but it was really poorly executed. They didn't get the freeze, and Morso got his first blood onto the duo lane.
Yeah, that really was not how you want to start that off, and that led to a super extended laning phase that lots of back and forth kills. This was the moment that Crazy Caps turned his game around, though. You can see dived on but survives and picks up a good few kills to go from 0-2 from the laning phase to 4-2 overall.
Yeah, big difference. But then the objective trading started to happen, and while it looked really good for Team Dignitas, taking away this inhib for Baron, Lowlandlions knew exactly what they wanted, and they just picked up objective after objective after objective.
And you could see that the objective trading continued, and it really was on Crazy Caps. They had quite a fast-pushing composition with Azir and Jinx, but it was Crazy Caps in these fights. He picks up so many kills here, already downs 2 contenders already as Hybrid falls. Kyrie dies as a 3rd, and look at that kiting from Crazy Caps.
Yeah, crazy. A new challenger approaches, and he shoots them down. But then Lowlandlions come right into this, and in true Dignitas fashion, will be pushed away from this Baron.
There was a bit of a shining light, though. The late-game Senkux, look at this damage coming out from him. This is what we're expecting from him. And from 100 right the way to 0 with Senkux on almost no health, just completely downs Corki.
And that small glimmer of hope was completely extinguished when Broken Shard was not able to secure the dragon. He actually missed smite here, and Lowlandlions just clean up the rest of the fight with their 5th dragon, and they just take out the rest of the team and win the game.
And that was the end of the game from there. That was a super late Dragon call that unfortunately there was that little bit of miscommunication out by Team Dignitas Europe. And, you know, giving 5th Dragon away, you can see on your screen just how many Dragons were given away just in general in that game. Lots of action around the objectives, giving away 3 Barons as well. Credit goes to Crazy Caps, though, on this one, because he had a rough laning phase to begin with, then kind of bounces back, ends up with, I believe he had like 13 kills at the end of the game for that late game jinx. So Crazy Caps did a good job in that game.
And we looked before at Senkux, but this game, yes, he was able to delete that one carry looking at the Corki earlier, but he was really just outshone by CosQ. He just did way better in the game. Yes, his team was winning and he was, you know, kind of riding a little bit on the coattails of that, but he just generally did better in the game up against Senkux when contrasting the two.
Yeah, and you know, CosQ, there's been a little bit of discussion about him this week on social media, and he definitely put out a good performance in yesterday's game.
Yeah, so we'll see if you know, he can continue doing so. But after the loss yesterday, Senkux spoke out on Twitter this morning saying, today is the day to carry. And we really have to see if it is the day to carry, because there's a lot riding on the shoulders if he's thinking he can 1v5 the world.
Yeah, and you know, when you put a statement out like that, they know how yesterday went. A lot of the Team Dignitas players were kind of saying, yeah, it was an unfortunate, disappointing loss for us. There's only this one more chance to play against Lowlandlions. We talked about it earlier. For everybody that's maybe not so familiar with the new Challenger format, head over to LLL Esports during one of the breaks. You can check out exactly how Challenger shapes up, as Freak did an article over on LLL Esports. It'll pretty much give you all of the information, but teams only play each other twice, 2 best of ones, with one on red side, one on blue side, and Team Dignitas Europe have already lost once to Lowlandlions, and that is a big feather in the Lowlandlions cap.
Yeah, really, really good. And the only next time they'll face them is in the brackets if they both the teams make it there. So, yeah, and Team Dignitas really coming into this one was seen as the more consistent team, looking at Broken Child with the experience, looking at Senkux, looking like a super good mid laner, and has looked really good in solo queue, really good in the qualifiers as well. And then coming into this, didn't do well at all against CosQ and Lowlandlions. And Lowlandlions, this underdog team, the team who no one had any expectations for, just start beating them straight up.
Yeah, there was so much discussion coming into this about Lowlandlions that a lot of people, you know, there was talk about other challenger teams that maybe people felt, but like this as a win yesterday in their first competitive outing in Challenger, at least, is just such a big statement for them to make. And if they could 2-0 Team Dignitas Europe today, that would be a massive, massive start for Lowlandlions and would pretty much, you know, quieten a couple of haters maybe, as not everybody was convinced about Lowlandlions, but I think after seeing that yesterday, I think Team Dignitas Europe aren't going to take them lightly. And honestly, you mentioned Senkux there. He had a bit of a quiet game yesterday. Still did kind of well for his own stats, but it was not the standout, I'm going to carry the team performance that Senkux has kind of talked about. He's been quite vocal about that, actually. That, you know, I love carrying the team, and that's what I'm going to aim to do every game. Yeah,
and it was actually funny. I was talking to Lowlandlions, and they were like, how are you? I was asking them, how are you feeling about coming into this? I mean, you know, you guys, you're not as well known as the rest of them, the rest of the teams we have here in the round robin, and they were like, I think we're going to do really well. I think we can take the top first or top second spots. Like, those are bold words, but after looking at the first game, they might be able to just do that stress. But we are now heading into Champion Select, and we'll see if they change anything up as we head into today.
Yeah, I mean, what could be changed up as we head into the day? This was a ban that we saw yesterday. Kalista was not available in that game. Actually, the only game that it wasn't available in, very interestingly enough, so they really don't want Crazy Caps getting on that. And yesterday, this game had a lot of focus on top laners, and it seems like we might be heading that way again.
Yeah, Jax comes out as the next ban. Kassadin will be coming in as a flex ban up against Wonderwear or even Senkux in the mid lane. And then Fiora comes out as another ban up against Morsu, most likely in the top lane.
Yeah, and this normally would be super, super, super surprising, and it is still. I feel like we're watching Different Dimension and we're all the way back in the expansion tournament. Fiora is not a champion that anybody would normally ban. I'm actually surprised to see it as a ban, but teams were banning it away from Morsu previously, and unfortunately we will get ourselves back into Champion Select in just a second. Now, I'm going to kind of talk about that Fiora, because the more I think about it again, I'm having deja vu of back at expansion when I was like, Fiora's not surprising. Fiora's...
It is very surprising.
So Morsu had some bans against him on Fiora in the qualifiers, and I just find it very strange that Team Dignitas Europe would ban away a champion like Fiora when yesterday their ban strategy was pretty much they banned out Irelia Nidali Jana. and they're going to have to leave one of those open. We didn't see an Irelia ban out yet, if I'm remembering off the top of my head. So that is another big ban, but it's very, very clear from those bans from Dignitas that Morsu likes top laners who want to fight. Yesterday he played Jax, Irelia's been banned away, they're banning away Fiora, they do not want Morsu on something that can carry.
Yeah, I mean, Morsu is the player coming into this one who has the most experience, and he's most likely the one who is telling the team, giving the team the ropes, but yeah, they don't want anything of Morsu at all in this one. They also banned out Janna yesterday, and they, of course, won't be banning that one either as we head into this one. I guess it's one of the ones you can kind of throw away more than anything else, but yeah, Fiora comes in as the next ban.
So yesterday as well, it was actually Dignitas that were banning out Kassadin and Kalista. So kind of surprising. Bans have flipped around on this one. Lowlandlions now on the blue side. This time they don't want Senkux getting one of his favorite champions.
Yeah, again, well, we saw that in a highlight clip just there, how he is mechanically very strong with that champion, and, well, we can see he can maybe even go down that line of carrying, and he's made that statement, so they'll take that one away from him.
This does still leave him a lot open. LeBlanc, Ahri are still open for Senkux should he choose to pick them, and with the last ban of Rek'Sai, Jarvan is available, Na is as well. So those are two big high priority picks that we've seen picked together. So unless Lowlandlions want to steal one of those away here, they have got a big decision to make. Ahri, Na, Jarvan, do they take any of those three in this situation? Do they want something different?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, the Irelia was not banned out, and it's going to be first picked by Morsu. So despite them putting both the Jax and the Fiora up against Morsu, he just takes the one that they didn't ban yesterday.
I mean, at this point, Na's still available, Maokai's available, so Team Dignitas Europe still have a lot of options. And honestly, you can neutralize a lot of what Irelia is going to try and farm up in the laning phase by just dragging her into a farm lane with something like a Maokai. So it's actually all on Morsu to do a lot of the work here, and Team Dignitas Europe are going to mix things up completely from yesterday.
Yeah, actually coming up with a Rengar into the jungle. We did see that last game onto Zayu, did very, very well, but we'll also come up with the Ahri as well for the Senkux. So, of course, that is part of basically everyone's champion pool at the moment in the mid lane, but Senkux will be taking that one and maybe trying to live up to that statement.
Well, it fits Senkux right down to a T. It's strong right now. It's a mid laner he can carry from. High mobility, high ability to roam as well. So this maybe is the day to carry. Maybe Senkux was right.
It may be, but in response, Lowlandlions come out with both the Janna and the Lissandra. Again, Lissandra was banned yesterday and now taken by Lowlandlions.
Yeah, so a lot of game one picks. Actually, two of the three picks that were banned out away by Team Dignitas Europe yesterday have been picked up here with that Janna and the Irelia. So Team Dignitas clearly think that their yesterday's bans weren't enough to win them the game. They've changed things up completely here.
Yeah, so Lissandra typically comes in as a flex pick, but with Morsu sitting on the Irelia, unlikely it's going to go anywhere else. So we'll see if Cosq can repeat the performance of yesterday, because he did very well in the mid lane and continue to do so through the rest of the game. But Team Dignitas come in with the next two picks, which will be Annie, most likely looking in that support role, and then the Sivir as well to go alongside the movement speed from the team, the mobility coming in.
And mobility is the name of the game with this team comp. You look at it, Rengar, Ahri, Annie, everybody's going to benefit from the Sivir ultimate, and again, very similar to the composition out of Reason in the first game. This comp wants to jump and engage and just remove somebody from the map as fast as possible, and Team Dignitas Europe, they're a pretty aggressive team. Something we spoke about yesterday while we were watching the games was just how aggressive Broken Shard can be from the jungle, and Rengar fits that. I haven't seen a lot of Broken Shards Rengar, seen him play a lot of Jarvan, so that's one question here. And honestly, Lowlandlions, their composition as well has pretty good makings of picking off one person.
Yeah, and we have seen Broken Shard be over-aggressive a lot of times. In fact, a lot of the games we saw, he went like 1-5 yesterday, and it was just super aggressive, and then would dive turrets, and it just didn't work out for them. He knew what he was doing, but the team wasn't on the same page. But we do have Graves coming out as the final pickup, alongside the Elise now coming in for Lowlandlions, so Kyrie will be taking that.
Yeah, Elise just really hasn't seen too much play. A lot of talk just about general play when it comes to Elise on where she sits in win ratios. In this kind of comp, you just pick, you're picking her for the cocoon and a lot of the magic damage as well. It's just a champion that can pick one person off. Over on the other side, Na has been picked up to round off the composition for Team Dignitas Europe. So while that doesn't mesh all that well with the team comp that Team Dignitas Europe have, again, the mobility, you don't obviously have that player-created terrain, but still getting Na into the backline faster to Na faster is going to go quite well for Team Dignitas Europe, you would think.
Yeah, you would hope so, as you know, that whole team is looking absolutely mobile, as you mentioned. But on the flip side, you've got the ability to catch people out. You've got the Janna, but more importantly, the Lissandra with the lockdown, with the Frozen Tomb. Then the Aurelia to jump on top of them as well. The Equilibrium Strike. Someone's going to die when they jump on top of them.
Yeah, that is pretty true there. And don't take away from the fact as well that we need to keep in our minds Janna in that team composition allows for a little bit of disengage there.
Yeah.
I mean, they once you've used Monsoon once, the rest of the follow-up is going to come from Team Dignitas Europe, but certainly that can get you out of a few sticky situations. But actually looking at that Team Dignitas comp, compare it to yesterday, where yesterday they went for this really fast push tower comp. They had Jinx, they had Azir, they had Jarvan. Everything was like, yeah, get in front of turrets and we'll take turrets down. This time it's just blow somebody up. Nobody's going to be there to defend turrets, and we're going to take objectives from it. This is a much more objective-focused comp, and consider yesterday. Their objective control was borderline non-existent when it came to taking dragons, taking barons. This time feels a little bit better for them.
Well, we'll see if they can change up their playstyle as we load into this game stress. Remember to tweet your big plays at LLL Esports with the new hashtag #BigPlays. And if I've ever seen a big play, it was definitely that Senkooks 1v4 that we saw with the Azir onto their Corki.
Yeah, but that was yesterday, so you can't get that one.
So you can't have that
it's
one.
It's big plays from today now, because we've already shown you that one. That one could go in a highlight video if people wanted to, but you know, we want to see the best plays from today.
Yeah,
that's the thing. There were good plays yesterday. They can bring them out.
Yeah, there was a lot of good plays yesterday. A game we'll see later today as well. We saw the AD carry go massive on his AD carry. We'll be showing you that. It was really, really impressive. But we are now heading into the game, the second game of today, of the 2015 EU Challenger Series, the Spring Split. Lowlandlions now swapping down onto the bot left-hand corner with the blue team. And on the upper right is, of course, Team Dignitas EU trying to take a game back against Lowlandlions. 0-1 now heading into this season.
And yesterday's game was quite a long game, to say the least. I mean, it's very rare that you see 3 Barons in a game. So if we're into any kind of situation like that today, we could be in for a nice long game. But this time, Lowlandlions might be changing up their strategy a little bit here. Yesterday, we saw the 2v1 go wrong for Team Dignitas. Will they aim for the same thing? Will they look to deep ward and deny any kind of lane swap here? Because they really did not get the freeze on either side of the lane.
Well, this time here, Lowlandlions 4-man push into the jungle, make that 5-man with Morsu trailing behind. Wonder where to the top side will be placing down the ward just in case they take that route. They would have seen that before it's stealthed up, but they go for it regardless. Visibility pushing forwards, taking point with the team. They place down the aggressive ward over the wall onto the Krugs. And they will be backing away here. Lots of pings going over the jungle. And Saitan actually putting this very, very deep ward right behind the second turret into the bot side of Lowlandlions, so they know exactly where they'll be. There's a lot of prediction play coming out from Dignitas EU right now.
Yeah, they don't want to botch that lane swap again. That is for sure, because so for anybody that caught the game yesterday, what essentially happened was Team Dignitas wanted to set up a lane swap, and we will see the ward yet has spotted out Visibility. They set up a lane swap and then kind of didn't freeze it in either place. Neither Lowlandlions did, and they shoved a big wave of creeps in. This time Team Dignitas aren't really going to look to do that. Neither team is lane swapped, so a bit of an awkward ward out there, just making sure that Lowlandlions didn't want to avoid this Sivir Annie matchup, which can be a little bit tricky here for the Graves Janna lane. So it will be the standard 2v2, and 1v1 as Broken Shard heads around his jungle.
Yeah, the only difference to this picture stress is Morsu's actually taking the Merkors here and is actually not deciding to interact with Wonderwear at all. He's just going through the jungle and will probably be teleporting into that lane just in a minute. He's taking a long time with those camps.
Yeah, the question for that is, Morsu's going to back away, so he is going to be able to pick himself up, I'd imagine, some more pots. Yeah, that is indeed what he does. Actually gets quite a stack more on pots and teleports in. It's now down to this experience. He didn't really get an experience lead in this matchup. Wonderwear still is level 2 at the same time, so it's just down to that sustain in lane, and that means he can trade a fair amount more in that top lane.
Yeah, he's going to be in a better situation. Hopefully that pays off for him. We'll see in the next coming minutes whether that is the case. But now looking at that mid lane, Kozq up against Senkooks. And Senkooks, well, big words, but Kozq was able to shut him down yesterday. We'll see if he can do the same thing. This time around now in the Ahri and Lissandra matchup, not too big of a difference so far.
Yeah, it's big words on saying that today is a day to carry. I mean, to give him the benefit of the doubt, he didn't say that today he's going to carry. He just said that if he needs to carry, today is the day for somebody to carry.
He didn't even say it was him who's going to do the carrying,
so. Maybe we just misinterpreted his words. Maybe he's going to go full utility. However, somebody that might be looking to set up one of their carries on the team, Kyrie, is looking for this top lane. You can see Morsu already starting to trade. They got to wait for this Mega Gnar to expire. They will burn a flash here, though.
Well, the Spider Queen is closing in. Does land a volatile Spatling, jumps through, gets the Venomous bite down. This should be a dead Wonder. Yeah, it is going to be first blood for Kyrie. Only takes one tower shot. Another one will be tanked up by the Spiderlings, would disappear. Nice first blood by Lowlandlions to kick off the game.
A lot used double flash, but they do get the flash and the kill from Wonderwear. I don't think Wonderwear was expecting them to flash after it, but you can see that Morsu allowed Wonderwear to shove this big wave of creeps in towards him, and it put Wonderwear just so far out of position that Morsu knew he could just trade away a little bit, just take a couple of potions, got a mana pod as well, just so that he could throw out more abilities. Great timing out by Kyrie as well. Just knew that they could go. Zaitan's going to get the stun.
Well, he's going very far forward, so he's taking a lot of damage in return. Crazy Caps in the meanwhile is just putting down the damage onto Facility, turned around, places another boomerang onto the backside of Hybrid as he gets away from that engagement. Facility taking all the damage. Boomerang Blade almost catches him on the way out as well, and Crazy Caps is absolutely leading that lane.
And honestly, something though that Team Dignitas Europe have to be very careful of is their lanes, especially bottom lane, is going to push a lot. And that will attract the attention of Kyrie. And they have to make sure that this Elise doesn't get through the early game with too much. She is going to get spotted on a ward and isn't going to quite go straight in. So good ward positioning. It's a little bit unorthodox out of Team Dignitas Europe, but they caught Kyrie on the way into the lane, and now they know that Kyrie could potentially be in that jungle.
Yeah, and now Kyrie moving into the middle of the river, maybe even finding Broken Shard as he's in the top side of this middle lane right now. Senkux does hide himself away, gets into the fog of war away from God's Q, try and set up this gank. Kyrie, does he read this though? He does ping down onto the bottom ward, maybe looking for his luck onto the bot lane. He'll be now heading over that ward, looking to get something done. Broken Shard now heads away from that lane, but now he already has been seen by this bot lane. Crazy Caps just have the spell shield. There it is. It blocks out the damage, not the CC. It's still enough to get him away from the gank.
Crazy Caps actually flashing away just to make sure he got away from that, and spell shield was there to avoid a little bit of that, but flash used nevertheless. And honestly, one thing that both of these junglers have opted for to begin the game is the Ranger's Trailblazer. Neither of them has opted for the Stalker's Blade to get themselves into lane that little bit easier. That does make the ganks a little bit trickier, but Kyrie and Broken Shard have opted for the extra farm time. But this time, Broken Shard's going to head up for his first gank of the game. They know there's no flash on Morsu.
Well, Morsu jumps right onto Broken Shard to open up the gank. He gets the stun down, but Wonderwear's keeping up the aggression with the hyper extra % damage. And he's able to get away. Morsu doesn't even have to burn the flash, as he didn't even have it, so that wasn't even a possibility.
Yeah, and honestly, in that kind of situation, Wonderwear just wasn't in Mega Gnar, so couldn't quite get a lot of hard crowd control, only has that slow from the boomerang. And at that point, Morsu can jump around a little bit in the lane and gets himself out, but it is damage done. It buys time for Wonderwear to back away and pick himself up some items, and he actually hasn't opted to teleport back into the lane, so obviously Team Dignitas Europe are either looking to set up a dragon for themselves in the next couple of minutes, or are worried that Lowlandlions might do the same. So very interesting usage, or should I say not usage there, of summoner abilities.
So the difference coming into this game is that Broken Shard didn't do his crazy aggression as we usually see every game that he does. He either dives top lane or he goes into the jungle, but he in fact did nothing this game. And he also went for the Trailblazer, which is also not Broken Shard fashion. He usually likes to go for the aggressive item builds. So this time around he's taking this step back, and they definitely haven't fallen way far behind, but they're still falling behind. So what do they do now that Broken Shard's kind of changed his playstyle, but they're still falling behind? Is there a correct answer?
Well, I mean, right now, it's still very early on, and it was the only real difference in this game has come from the first blood, and you can see that that really is just the goal difference between these two teams. So Morsu actually shoves a massive wave up into this top lane to make sure he can back away, but we have to keep a track. Does Morsu teleport in? Because that could open up a lot here for Team Dignitas. Ward onto the blue is going to spot Broken Shard out, but I believe his Razor Sharp actually procced, and he didn't choose to clear the ward out because he was so busy taking blue buff. So again, this is the second time of the day that we've seen a Razor Sharp pop and the ward actually not get cleared away.
Kyrie at least did have tabs on this position, but it doesn't mean he can do anything with it. Broken Shard just goes to the Merc Wolves, clears those away, now heads into his top jungle as well. Kyrie just trailing behind Kazuki, and they'll take their own blue buff from this one. Level 5 Kyrie to the same level 5 from Broken Shard. In fact, made that level 6. He's got his Thriller Hunt.
Quite interesting build path out of Kazuki. He's opted for a very, very fast needlessly large rod, not opting for mana regen, not opting for any kind of magic resist. And against an Ahri in the factor of Senkux here as Broken Shard, maybe a little bit caught out. Everybody's kind of hunting for him. But this build is very aggressive, and I kind of say a little bit greedy. They're relying purely on Kazuki ulting himself to stay alive if he's in danger. And that's a very risky playstyle here. He's actually going to have to kind of play around that a lot. It does give him a whole load of damage though, and you can see Senkux is not opting for that Abyssal Scepter first that we've seen out of a couple of players on Ahri, like Power of Evil from the Unicorns of Love, but it's bottom lane. A stun has landed, but it's not quite enough damage to allow Crazy Caps to follow up.
Yeah, just trading kills back, or rather damage back and forth. No kills just yet. Visibility and Crazy Caps sharing the same BF sword, but Senkux has been called out, and a Frozen Tomb as well. There's the picking potential you were talking about.
Well, there's the damage from a needlessly large rod. Who needs defensive items when you can use the Elise and the Lissandra together? Again, single target works perfectly for Lowlandlions.
Who needs defensive items when the opponent's already dead, so they can't deal damage? But Broken Shard now heading into this mid lane, trying to clear out those minions with the Boulder Strike, but it's not all that effective. He'll have to move around the side, and that middle tower will be going down. That's the first tower of the game going over to Lowlandlions, and Team Dignitas have nothing really to respond.
No, they really don't have too much to respond to that mid push at all. No, they clear the thing. It's okay. Just one last auto. A little bit risky, but Zaitan felt pretty confident in that. Itemization choice, actually, on Ahri. Senkux has opted for boots, so really wants to get himself out on the map. Doesn't opt for magic resist against Lissandra that already has a needlessly large rod. Is a bold, bold move. He's going to have to avoid the engages at all costs.
And Broken Shard now will be taking his red buff here. Wonder where is he going? He's heading into the bot lane. Will be teleporting onto that ward. He does get the boomerang throw onto the first kill onto Facility. Hybrid doesn't get the stun from Zaitan, but do they have the slow? They've managed to tag him with the next boomerang toss, but doesn't land another boomerang toss, and that'll be Hybrid getting away. But with that one pick, they should be able to get onto this dragon and start it up for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, with the dragon going down, that will be in favor, but man, did Team Dignitas use a lot there to try and get a kill onto a Janna. But dragon will completely make that worth it. They already got the one kill in that bottom lane as well. And finally, Team Dignitas Europe are showing us some objective control. This is what they didn't do yesterday. Seems like they're trying to plug a load of those leaks.
And Underwear trying to plug Kazuki here, doesn't manage to tag him with the boomerang toss, but doesn't get anything else. Too much mobility, especially with the Frozen Tomb available. Top tower, though, is also being pushed by Lowlandlions, and Morsu's just letting all of this juicy farm go to that turret. This will be the second one going down for Lowlandlions.
It will do, and they know they can stick around here with Morsu because the pink ward that I believe Crepo talks so much about, just in the top side jungle on red side from Wonderwear. This ward spots Wonderwear out, and it has done a great job of tracking Broken Shard, tracking Wonderwear through that top lane, and buys Lowlandlions the ability to take a tower. So overall, it's a kill and a dragon for a tower. Lowlandlions, maybe getting picked off here as Hybrid has found Senkux.
Well, he's definitely playing with fire, and he was trying to clear away that ward in time, but was not able to do so. Senkux does get away with that. Broken Shard now in the bottom lane, sitting with Zaitan in that bush, but there's no one really to gank just yet, so he'll gank the Gromp instead. 2-1 currently in this game. 2,700 gold advances to the Lions. Very strong so far. Maybe even trying to get their second win of this split. That would be a very nice way to open up for these guys.
It would be, and it would be an unexpected way as well, and would certainly go a long way to concrete. Oh, I've seen this before. Broken Shard might be in trouble here if Kazuki wants to go in, but Broken Shard still has his ult, still has his flash. So it would be an all-in here if Lowlandlions wanted to go for it, and they think the better of it.
Yeah, Kyrie secures the Skull Crab, the Rift Scuttler. moving in, getting that vision over the Dragon, plus the speed Trine as well. Always nice to have. Visibility and Hybrid head now into the bottom lane. Only a small CS advantage. All of these lanes are pretty similar so far. Apart from Cosq, who actually has a significant advantage onto Senkux, not only in terms of farm, but also that extra kill that we saw earlier.
Yeah, he does indeed. Oh, almost a good read there by Lowlandlions. They could smell that something was up.
Early.
They only caught Zaitan, but still it's enough for Lowlandlions to be playing a little bit more scared down in this bottom lane. They do not want to allow an easy Rengar gank out. We haven't seen one yet. They've got the Sivir ultimate as well. They're going to pop it. Broken Shard wants to go in.
Thrill of the Hunt, plus on the hunt as well. That combination onto Hybrid nukes him down. Visibility doesn't quite land the damage from collateral damage onto Broken Shard. That may have even secured the kill for him. That's a nice 1-0, burning those 2 ultimates for the kill.
Big hunting party down in the bottom lane there. Really wanted Hybrid there, and didn't even get a chance to use the Monsoon, or just saved it, regardless of which way you want to look at that. But that is a kill picked up, but mid lane, they're looking for it again. Wonderwear has hop-footed it down.
Wonderwear, you're not the jungler. Cosq will be ulting himself. Kyrie from the bot side, that is the jungler. He will be getting the Cocoon down, following off the Glacial Claw, not even going all the way over. Now 3 versus 1. Wonderwear does not want to be here anymore, but does he have the ability to get out? The answer to that is no. As he goes down, Morsu will be picking up the kill. Team Dignitas EU respond with a push into the bottom lane. They take their first tower of the game.
So they trade a kill for a tower, and at this point the laning phase is a lot shorter than it was in yesterday's game, where we're at 23 minutes we still had laning going on, and in that engage again it was the warding out from Lowlandlions in the top side jungle made sure they knew where Wonderwear was, and they're tracking Team Dignitas very, very well through their own jungle.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the vote over at LLL Esports, 72% of Team Dignitas, despite the result from yesterday. People think that, yeah, this is going to go their way. They're still behind in this game, but as you mentioned, picking up kills here and there. Broken Shard getting stuff done into the bottom lane. And looking at Broken Shard, he has also picked up this Wario-looking enchant as well.
Yeah, he has indeed. His Warrior Enchant is going to get him that extra damage on Rengar. On the other side, actually, at least opting for what looks to be the Juggernaut Enchant from onto that Rangers Trailblazer. Yeah. Which, this is a discussion that a lot of people have had, and this is the point I was ultimately getting to, is do you go Mages, do you go Juggernaut? And a lot of people we saw from Giants in the expansion tournament played that Juggernaut style. Allows you to just kind of become a Cocoon bot, just throwing things out. You kind of last through a lot of things, and then you've got good damage to kind of spike down an objective at the end of it. So looks like Kyrie wants to play it that way as well, which when we have seen at least has been the most common way to do it. So that is what he's opting for with those 2 Ruby Crystals.
Yeah, of course Elise now is kind of a different beast, as we haven't seen a ton of Elise recently compared to the other junglers, like the big meta ones, but Elise still has seen a lot of play in competitive. Now taking away the Rift Scuttler, Broken Shard taking away a ward, and also taking away the red buff as well. So 1 dragon up on their opponents, with dragon spawning in 1 minute. Looks like these teams are starting to congregate around the center of the map.
It does indeed, and you know, there's a big item point here for Lowlandlions. They got the Trinity Force onto Irelia. They've also got themselves a Morellonomicon onto Lissandra, not opting to build that needlessly large rod into anything straight away. So delayed her first full item just because of how confident she was in the laning phase. Just that a needlessly large rod was all she needed to get that first pick. Lowlandlions are a 5-man stack and are looking perhaps for Zaitan and Crazy Caps.
Yeah, getting into this lane very fast with the X movement speed from the Crab. Oh, so much damage onto Zaitan. He drops. Broken Shard comes into the fight. He drops as well. Everyone is just walking into this meat grinder, but Kyrie is dropping low. Can he get away from this one? Senkos is over the wall. He has the ultimate. Picks up 1. Comes into a 2. That's the second kill of the fight. Now with the chase down, he'll be flashing away from that. Visibility turns around Morsu with the damage. Senkos is still alive. Comes in with reverse swing of the Orb of Deception, and now he'll be chasing after Morsu as well, trying to get this last kill. But that was a very messy fight, resulting in a 3-4 advantage, just barely to the Lions.
Right at the beginning of that great little dive there onto the 2 members of Team Dignitas Europe that were there in the bottom lane. But from that, the teleports came through, the mobility out of the rest of the Team Dignitas lineup, just completely catching Lowlandlions off guard. They committed so much to the dive that from there, the cleanup from Team Dignitas Europe was just too strong. Senkux comes into the fight, and Wonderwear was so close to transforming into Mega Gnar. He was within half a second of doing it. With his Gnar ultimate available, would have been a very clean fight at the end of it for Team Dignitas, but this might not be so clean. Broken Shard might be caught out.
Yeah, just wants to go into the river, see what was up, but all that is up for him is death. Kyrie comes up with the Neurotoxin, pushes him away down to 50% HP, and that is not the place the jungler wants to be as they're setting up for the dragon. And Lowlandlions, they are decisive about this one. Straight onto the dragon, already down to 1000 HP, and this is gone before Dignitas even get there.
And from praising their, changed, revitalized objective control earlier on in the game, this time Broken Shot gets a little bit caught out. Lowlandlions easily take a dragon, and now they want to look to go mid, but look at how much damage Cosq actually took in that engage. He's actually not really opted for any kind of resist there, as he's still not even built any kind of magic resist.
Yeah, I mean, props to Team Dignitas to identify what their problems were yesterday and try and change it around, but they actually need to put that into effect. They can't just pick the composition and then say, we're going to do this now.
Yeah, it takes a little bit more execution than that. However, one thing that they will have is these kind of windows. Look at Cosq down in the bottom lane cleaning a wave. They will have moments where either Morsu or Cosq are the other side of the map, and Dignitas have this massive spike of mobility to kind of just catch up. That's the team comp that they're running. We mentioned it in Champion Select that they want that big burst of mobility from Sivir, and if they can clean Lowlandlions off the map before the teleports have completed, then really there's not a lot that Lowlandlions can do in that situation. Senkux is in a good spot so far. This game he started 3-1-1, but they're giving away turrets halfway across the map. They're trading again. And yesterday, in game 1 of this series, that trades, or the trades, didn't go in favor of Team Dignitas Europe.
The bottom lane, though, again, that was also not the trade that they wanted. They just pushed the mid lane, but a nice AoE smite from Kyrie was able to push them away. Bottom lane, Lowlandlions took another tower, so they've actually taken out the outer ring away now, and Team Dignitas have to flee back into their jungle. And every time they mobilize, Lowlandlions always have an answer for them. At the dragon, they were able to just stop them by having a very messy fight, but also picking up the dragon after that. In the mid lane, they were just able to stop the push and do that with reduced members. They were actually outnumbered there and were still able to take an objective.
Yeah, and the numbers advantage is going to be super important for Team Dignitas Europe. We've already mentioned how their comp really wants to pick somebody off, and anytime that they're in a 2v1, 3v2 kind of situation and Dignitas feel like they want to fight, that is wow. Okay, Lowlandlions, this is super, super early, but look at the control they have over the enemy jungle. They know exactly where everybody is. They've got Aurelia, they've got Elise to do a lot of damage here. This is dying pretty quickly. This is a very, very early Baron steal, and Broken Shot goes in.
He jumps over the wall. He does not get the seal, and they'll turn around. Collateral damage will blast him down. Zaitan will fall as well. Cosq follows up. Another Q to the face. 2-0. Lowlandlions get away with it, and they get even more on top of it.
Man, Lowlandlions with a very, very risky play.
Oh, Senkux looking to lock him down. Left, right, finds him with the charm. Takes him out, so at least they do respond with the 1 kill there, Stress, but still not good for Team Dignitas.
How much did Team Dignitas Europe take from this? That is really the key factor, because a Baron this early in the game normally is a very big deal. Cosq's going to go in.
He comes in with the claw. Can they take the tower? No, they can't. Janus says no with the shield. Wonderwear turns around, wallops him down. Kyrie as well jumps into the edge, jukes out of the way of the Orb of Deception. He doesn't get the damage. Oh, crazy caps! Well, the spell shield. It was definitely not to be found there. Nara ultimate pushes them away. There's no terrain in the way of them, and they pick up another kill. They find Morsu, but again, another response. They'll always take something back, that being from Lions.
Man, that just... Wow, Crazy Caps caught without his spell shield in that situation. Thought the heal would do enough, but it actually boosts his movement speed, and that was so messy out of Team Dignitas Europe. They really just couldn't hold on to that engage at the turret, and Cosq's pretty strong right now. We said at the beginning of the laning phase that needlessly large rod needed to pay off for him, because that's a massive investment, and honestly, they've really just taken that and run with it. And Team Dignitas Europe, they let a Baron go away. They now didn't get a tower from it. They've lost 2 of their own as well. Man, Team Dignitas Europe aren't looking so sharp right now. They need to focus themselves, because they're going to have to drag this one quite far.
Yeah, this has changed dramatically, and they just didn't really find a footing in this game. They got that 1 dragon at the early mark into the game, and just from there, it's just been all downhill from for them. Lowlandlions have just been all over the map. They seem to just be reading what they're trying to do. And this instant swap in playstyle just turns out that it just had the same problems as yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it looked good for the first 10 to 15 minutes. It looked like they'd fixed their problems. Different team comp, different focus. They got that first dragon of the game.
A lot more control.
Lowlandlions right now are looking very strong. You know, there's still that shining light. Our player to watch in this game was Senkux, and he is still putting in a good performance. 4-1-1 currently, and you know, this game is far from over. That is one thing that you pretty much can never say, and especially in this kind of standing right now. One good engage for Team Dignitas Europe. One good catch should be enough to swing this game, perhaps. They'll start taking a lot of turrets from it, but there's a long way to go for that.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a very nice team fight if they can get there, especially with the Broken Shard, with the Thrill of the Hunt, and then Crazy Caps with the On the Hunt as well. It seems like they have a lot of mobility. We did see a small bit of that in the bot lane engage, remember, earlier on as we were ending the laning phase. They were able to chase down the Lowlandlions, but that's a very specific scenario that they just haven't been able to get into again. And now with Baron going down to the Lions, and now them putting the pressure into the bot lane, now's the time to see if Team Dignitas can do something. Yeah,
it will indeed. It looks like Kyrie is back in the game already, thankfully. It was only a slight little blip, and he is back in. But, you know, some things that'll make it pretty difficult here for Dignitas Europe to pick off somebody is just look at the defensive item already on the side of Lowlandlions. Irelia building towards that Randuin Zomin. We've got a Zhonya's Hourglass on Lissandra and an Aegis to the Legion as well. Oh, that's an engage.
Zaitan coming down, does land the anti-stun onto Free, but with the repel coming up, he's going to come back down again. Kyrie does get stunned up, comes in with Senkux, with the Orb of Deception as well. Wonderware is on the chase, doesn't land the Boomerang toss, but they do repel the assault. Morsu wasn't even in that fight though, and he's pushing down the mid lane real fast.
He is. I don't think he can get too much done with just 3 minions. The rest of the minions are right the way in the back of the map. Not even at the halfway point of the map. Wonderware, oh, he lands the Q, he's got the slow. That's a dragon actually going down in favor of Lowlandlions without their smite. Team Dignitas Europe maybe caught a little bit sleeping there.
Yeah, and again, we saw the exact same thing, and this is over and over and over again. They just cannot control these objectives.
I mean, so they win the fight in bottom lane, and then don't continue to the dragon, which they knew was spawning soon, which is a big problem that they have to really address. Tower goes down in their favor in the middle lane. That is, you know, it's a trade overall, but it gives Lowlandlions their second dragon of the game. They focus so much on, like, trying to go for Morsu, that Morsu was just buying time for Vizility and Koskyu to just take Dragon.
It's very odd. It was kind of like, all right, we got the kill, got him, boys, and then they just backed off, and the jungle was like, Dragon was up.
I mean, at that point, you've got to wonder, because when you look at an Irelia that's pushing with no minions, you don't need to commit 5 people to her. I mean, because you're never going to chase her at that point. She has teleport, she had flash available.
Yeah, but what happens if Morsu stood still?
We're not playing with our X-Side pulse. Nobody's vision is based on movement today in this game, but certainly Broken Shard, whether he's standing still or not, can be seen in that bush while there's a ward in there. So vision is key, my friends. Only stand still in bushes if you've swept them.
Wards save lives.
Or the other way, they can actually get picks.
Wards kill lives.
They're trying to set up a pick, but the problem here is nobody's pushing. Because Lowlandlions at this point in time, they've got some gold onto Lissandra. They know they maybe don't need to push quite so fast right now. So honestly, Team Dignitas Europe don't exactly have a game plan right now, is what you can see. This last couple of minutes, they've been kind of reacting to what Lowlandlions have been doing on the map. And Lowlandlions are just letting Irelia, with Morsu with Irelia, just push up in the bottom lane because they know how strong it is. Oh, there's the engage.
Oh, it's going in. Broken Shot jumps into the middle of 4 people. He will not be surviving. Kyrie will be chasing him down. Zaitan also turns around. They did not even get 1 kill from that. This time, Crazy Caps has the flash away from the cocoon. He will not get taken out, but that would look like a good engage. It turned out not to be for Team Dignitas EU. 2-0 over to the Lions.
Yeah, between the Zhonya's Hourglass and the Locket of the Iron Solari, there is just not a lot that that Team Dignitas Europe can do, but
Oh,
Senkox
there's
from the
one.
side.
Repel comes up. He'll be coming back down into Crazy Cats, who responds with a couple of attacks. There's a big crit. Follows up with a Boomerang Blade, and there's another 2 kills from the fight. 2 for 2 overall. Double kill for Senkox. He is taking the team on his back. Flash forwards from Wonderware. We'll be getting the Randuins down, plus the Boomerang Blade. He doesn't need a Frozen Mallet. He can just stick to Visibility all day. Where's the dash? Where's the dash? Not there.
So I think in that kind of situation, Wonderware was waiting for the dash so he could Q over the wall, and Graves was waiting for the Q so he could dash after the Q. But in that situation, okay, so let's wind it all the way back to this initial fight here. The engage out of Team Dignitas Europe. They caught Kyrie. Cosq takes so much damage in this, but look at the Zhonya's, keeps him alive, and they pick off 2 members there from Team Dignitas. However, the key factor in this engage is it's the damage dealers that are still available, and with a lot of the protection already used in this situation, Teleport was not interrupted in the bottom lane, and Wonderware gets himself into this engage. Senkox even held his ultimate, plays this out beautifully well, and this may very well have been the kickstart again that Team Dignitas Europe really needed in this match. And here you go, here you can see Facility. Yeah, just doesn't dash, waiting for that Q.
Yeah, Senkox actually held on to his ultimate for so long, and actually showed he was recalling, and then went looped all the way around and managed to pick up 1 kill and then another kill onto Cosq. So
super smart play in that as well, knowing that he didn't need to burn it at the beginning. He's now 7-1-2, and although the gold in this game still shows Lowlandlions in favor, the objectives still show Lowlandlions in favor, Team Dignitas Europe are not done yet. This time, Lowlandlions aren't just going to start the Baron yet, although they are kind of motioning for it. They really want to start this Baron, and honestly, I feel like Team Dignitas Europe can contest this. They're in a lot better a spot to do this, and I don't think Team Dignitas Europe are going to get caught out by a Baron bait quite so easily.
Maybe not. We did see them do that yesterday, though. Baron does not seem to be paying off for them, but here's the combo on the Thrill of the Hunt, moving on towards Kyrie, but Wonderware trying to get into the fight. Finally, he transforms, but he's got no one to knock into the wall. Now he gets it. 4-man knockback, but is it enough because the team's not there to respond? Senkox comes in with the damage, but it's just too late. They were all focusing on whoever they were chewing on, but they'd backed off, and Wonderware was not able to set his team up for it. Morsu now chasing on. There's the flash. There's a jump onto Senkox. He may be taken down. The rest of the team is there to respond. Cosq cues him down. Broken Shard gets taken out. Senkox is the only remaining member on the team still alive. 4-4-0. The Lions pushed into the base.
Super good fight out of Lowlandlions. They got rid of the Rengar ult to begin the fight, and then from there, Lowlandlions come up huge in that fight. Only Senkox remains on the map, and that's because he hightailed it out of there. This is going to be an inhibitor turret, and the inhibitor going down in favor of Lowlandlions. They are looking super strong in this second game. Keep in mind that Lowlandlions right now are 1-0 in the 2 best of 1s against Team Dignitas Europe. Let's take another look at this. Broken Shard ults in, so he knows exactly where Lowlandlions are, and it's at this point that is super important. Look at how the backline is completely separated from Kyrie and Morsu, who are going in. Yes, they all get stunned, but the zoning was so good out of Morsu and Kyrie that none of the damage dealers from Team Dignitas Europe were able to capitalize on the massive stun out of Nah. From here, so much of the escapes has been used, and look at how less tanky Team Dignitas Europe are than Lowlandlions. It's an easy cleanup here for Cosq and Facility.
Yeah, it's kind of funny in that team fight, because they both kind of did the same thing, where the top laners zoned away the rest of the teams, but Morsu's the scary one, and Wonderware's not the scary one, so he just kind of went into the backline and died, whereas Morsu was actually aggressive and actually was scary to even 4 people.
Oh, Team Dignitas Europe know exactly what is up here. They were about to start Dragon, and Lowlandlions say, okay, we'll take the Baron. We know we've already done it once, so we'll trade this away. So Team Dignitas have to back away. Broken Shard just uses ult as well. That is a big engage tool for them. And honestly, Team Dignitas Europe pushed out quite far here. They're taking control of the Baron pit, but they've got to be careful they don't get caught out. They're a little bit split. Mid inhib is down as well. Lowlandlions may very well have found an angle, but one important thing, bottom lane. A lot of minions pushing in towards Lowlandlions. Bit of a slow push set up by Dignitas. They could send Morsu down there, or they could just start the Baron.
Yeah, they are pushing the issue in this one. Stress, Wonderware over the wall. He's looking to transform. He's already locked into it. He has to transform, and that means they have to engage now if they want to. Just him yelling a little bit. Was enough to zone him away. Wallop comes down just in case he decided to claw in. Zencox with the ultimate looks to try and get the charm down, but he's already used his ultimate. He's going to use those 2 charms, or those 2 charges to do something else.
All of the engage tools for Team Dignitas, apart from the Annie stun, are not available right now. Sivir ult not available. Rengar ult is down, and now Senkux as well. Again, all of this is from warding out by Lowlandlions, and that is something they have just simply done better than Team Dignitas in this game. The warding through the base allowed them to see Broken Shards still after the recall, so they get the start on the Baron and just exhaust a couple of the cooldowns that Team Dignitas would normally use. And again, they're going to start this out. This time they don't have the warding out, as Rengar did just cross one, but Lowlandlions are feeling super confident here.
Yeah, well, Broken Shard does have his ultimate right now. Zaitan finds KOZ. They'll be taking down Senkux at the start of the fight, and he's got all the kills. Can they still contest this one? KOZ, oh, he gets deleted by Broken Shard as he jumps across. Wonderware with the flash. Stun into the wall, and he lands the stun onto 2, though. And have they done enough damage? Morsu is live and healthy. Wonderware's getting slowly chunked away. Visibility, he's going to just have to stand there and fight them. And Broken Shard, maybe that's enough to land his escape. Kyrie is just on the chase. Comes up with a repel. I wonder if that was in range for the vision. I guess not. He was able to recall around that corner.
It's too little too late for Team Dignitas in that situation. I really want to see how Senkux fell in that, because he died either with his ult just about to come up, or it may have very recently come up. Let's take another look at the beginning of this fight. Man, look at just how quickly Senkux falls in that engage. And yes, now they're in the position to engage, but the Baron is already done, so everything they're fighting for here is just a couple of scraps at the end of this game. Lowlandlions have had control of this game from the very get-go, and Team Dignitas Europe are kind of looking without a captain right now. It doesn't look like anybody's really there to call everything out.
That was such a big commitment, though. They already knew their mid laner had gone down, and then they go in 4v5 to try and maybe secure the Baron, and then they just had to just let people die. Team Dignitas, again, are just not good at controlling objectives, even though they have the comp set up for it in this one. 7, 2, and 3 now on to Senkux. That's the second death of the game for him.
Okay, Dragon, here we go again. Let's try and set this up. Team Dignitas, they moved down here earlier. This time the Baron and the Inhib are already down for Lowlandlions, so this should be a Dragon going to Team Dignitas because they had the time on it. That's Lowlandlions letting that one go away, but when you take a Baron, when you take an Inhib, second Dragon isn't exactly the biggest factor in a game here, but it is a factor nonetheless.
Yeah, it's evened up the Dragons here, so Dragons aren't really going to play a factor in this game when we're looking to try and push into that 5th Dragon, so don't really have the timer in this one. But still, Lowlandlions, it just puts into an equal playing field, where the equal playing field is where Lowlandlions are already winning. So 7 and 2 on those towers. And look at the gold differential, 14,000 gold ahead, plus the Baron buff as well.
And that's a massive difference as well. That is not the old 14,000. That is a much more substantial lead. Top lane, look, nearly 4,000 or just over 4,000 gold between the two. And Lowlandlions want another inhibitor tower. Maybe they want to go in and look to finish this off, because Wonderware, although he is about to transform, all they've got to do is wait this out. They just need to bypass a lot of the engage from Team Dignitas Europe and then go for their own engage.
They're certainly trying to go for the jugular. They do manage to pick up that inhibitor turret. Morsu looking to head into that backline of minions, try and get another blade surge onto a squishy target perhaps. Just pushing away at these turrets, and now it's Team Dignitas who are going for this engage. Broken Shard at the front lines, but even if he jumps, he's going to be way too far away from his team, and those are 2 big ultimates down. Can they even fight this?
2 massive ultimates. They've got to be careful of the engage from Lowlandlions here, because that is what is going to happen next. Morsu looks to take the inhibitor. Wonderware might be caught. In goes KOZ.
KOZ is ready for some action. Broken Shard disappears from the map. He's gone. Wonderware, that's the front line gone. Crazy Caps does take a collateral damage to the backside of the head. He exits the map as well. KOZ was the only casualty from the Lions, and they are ready to clear up this game. Moving now on to this tower. They should be able to take it out. They have no minions, so it's got extra armor, but Morsu is able to tank it for days, and Facility coming in with the extra damage as well. Zaitan is the only player alive, and not anymore. Ace goes to Lowlandlions, 23-14. What a convincing performance. 2 games in a row against Team Dignitas EU. They come away with the winner 36 minutes into the game.
And Lowlandlions are pretty much proving everybody wrong with that kind of performance. And You know, coming into this series, coming into Challenger, there was just so much on the line here for Lowlandlions when it comes to a lot to prove and a lot to gain. And honestly, they show up big in their first 2 games of the Challenger split. That is a big contender out of the way. And honestly, when you look at it, now that everybody only kind of plays each other in one series, that's Lowlandlions kind of stamping their mark on their road to the middle, or the top side of the middle of the table already.
Yeah, I mean, that's one hurdle out of the way, Stress. You know, they don't have to face them again now. Now they just need to look to their future opponents, look at the rest of the teams and see what they need to do against them specifically. Dignitas are done. They have taken them 2-0, and they're looking very, very strong. This is kind of the team that we're looking at the underdogs and being like, they're the ones who are going to start struggling against these teams, but they're the ones who have made like the light of of the rest of the teams coming into this one. They've actually the ones looked the most convincing against their respective opponents.
Yeah, and when you look at that game, and what we were focused on coming into it about Senkux, a lot of people are talking about just how good a player Senkux is. He had a great stat line in that game, but it wasn't enough. He said today is the day to carry, and I mean...
Well, he tried.
He tried.
He tried a lot
Certainly,
in that game.
Lowlandlions looked a little bit more convincing with the old carry. So, honestly, Lowlandlions, I am impressed. I'm color me impressed, because that, to me, is a much stronger lineup than, even after seeing some games, than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, they identified exactly what they need to do in the game. They continued their strong objective control, and they saw, oh, you're doing well, Senkux. Well, Kozuki's just going to ult you in teamfights and delete you instantly. So they knew exactly what they wanted from that game. Very impressive. But we've got to take a quick break. But when we return, it's time for the big game of today. Gamers 2 going up against Origin. Don't touch that browser. We'll be right back.